Good morning, students. Welcome in Sanjeevani Mahavidyalaya Tapuri and Department of Physics. This lecture is for BSc Physics TY students, paper number 13A, Solid State Physics. Unit number 2, Bonding in Solids and X-ray Diffraction. Lecture number 1. In this unit of bonding in solids and X-ray diffraction, first of all, I want to teach you about the solids, types of solids, what about the interactions between them, what are their properties, and so on. First of all, we see interatomic forces. The categories of solids are distinguished by nature of the interactions holding the discrete molecules or atoms together. By what nature the atoms are held together, so depending upon the nature of holding the atoms together, solids are categorized as ionic solids, number 2 molecular solids, covalent solids, metallic solids. Now what about ionic solids, what about molecular solids, what about covalent solids, what about metallic solids? One by one we discuss now. In case of ionic solids, ionic solids consist of positively and negatively charged ions held together by electrostatic forces. The strength of bonding is reflected in the lattice energy. See, what are the constituents of ionic solids? The constituents are positively and negatively charged ions which are held together by electrostatic forces. What about the interactions? Ionic interactions there. What about the physical properties? Number 1, high melting point. Ionic solids possesses high melting point, brittle, quite hard. For example, sodium chloride, magnesium oxide. Ionic solids tend to have high melting points and are rather hard. Now, let's turn to question number 2, second model, second category, that is molecular solids. In case of molecular solids, interactions are hydrogen bonding, dipole-dipole bonding. The physical properties are such a molecular solids possesses low melting point. They are non-conducting in nature. For example, H2 and carbon dioxide. Number 3, covalent solids. We say network solids also. Interactions. There is a covalent bonding. What are the physical properties? Number 1, high melting point, hard in nature, non-conducting, and fourth one is soluble in organic solvents like benzene. For example, diamond and silicon dioxide, that is quartz. These are the covalent solids. Fourth one is Metallic solids. Interactions. Metallic bonding variables. What are the physical properties? Number one, hardness. Possesses hard. They are quite hard. Melting point depends upon the strength of metallic bonding. They are conducting in nature. For example, ferrous, magnesium, ferrous and magnesium. These are the what? Metals. And magnesium is also, ferrous and magnesium both are what? Conductors. Magnesium is present in third row element. It is second from left in modern periodic table. So it is highly metallic in nature. And it is a conductor of electricity and heat. So it is written conducting. So in this way, ferrous and magnesium both are conducting nature. They possess melting point depending upon the metallic bonding. They are hard in nature. And if we think about ionic bond now, sodium chloride, sodium ion, chlorine ion, their ionic bonding in sodium chloride is shown like this. What about ionic bonding? Ionic bonding is the attractive force existing between positive ion and a negative ion when they are brought into close proximity or surrounding. They are formed when atoms of different elements lose or gain their electrons in order to achieve the stabilized outermost orbit, outermost electronic configuration. In order to fulfill the outermost orbit of those elements, different elements lose or gain electrons and become stable by forming such a ion. For example, sodium ion and chlorine. So chlorine and sodium. There is a bonding and formation of common salt. Now what about the properties of ionic solids? Ionic solids are rigid, unidirectional and crystalline in nature. They are having high melting and boiling points. Ionic solids are good insulators of electricity in their solid state and good conductor of electricity in molten state. So depending upon state, they conduct, they are good conductors or insulators, we can conclude. Ionic solids are also soluble in water and slightly soluble in organic solvents. Yes, now let's turn towards covalent bonding. A covalent bond is formed when two or more electrons of an atom in its outermost energy level are shared by other atoms. For example, chlorine molecules. Here chlorine molecules, here there is a chlorine molecule Cl2. Here these two elements of chlorine, they share with each other. There is a sharing of electrons rather than the transfer of electrons takes place. Instead of transfer, electrons from the outermost orbit of each element, each atom of the sodium, they share with each other. And there is a formation of bond said to be covalent bond. So, in this way, bonding a stable arrangement is achieved by sharing of electrons rather than transfer of electrons. Sometimes a covalent bond is also formed when two atoms of different non-metals share one or more pair of electrons in their outermost energy level. For example, you see H2 and O1, two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. They share with each other. Bonding is between two different non-metals, hydrogen and oxygen here. Here bonding is between two atoms of the same element. The bonding of the two atoms of the same element, bonding between the two different non-metals takes place, and it is due to sharing of electrons from their outermost orbits. So we say such a bonding is said to be covalent bonding. For example, you see here bond, covalent bond, covalent bond. This is a covalent bond between the same element, atoms of the same element, and here these are the atoms of two different elements. Hydrogen and oxygen both are what? Non-metals. I mean different non-metals. Two different non-metals, here two different same non-metal elements. Here the element is same and there are two atoms of fluorine. They share with each other and covalent bonding is formed. Now metallic bonding. It has been observed that in a metal atoms, the electrons in their outermost energy levels are loosely held by their nuclei. They are loosely held by their nuclei. Thus, a metal may be considered as a cluster of positive ions surrounded by a large number of electrons, forming electron cloud. So, metallic sea of electrons is shown here in this figure. Electrons are not bonded to any particular atom and are free to move about in the solid. So this is about metallic bonding. Metallic compounds, high thermal and electrical conductivity. They possess high thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. It means they are good conductors of heat and electricity. They possess low melting point and boiling point temperature. They have a bright luster. They are luxurious. Metallic solids are malleable and ductile in nature. Then you know what is meant by malleable and what is meant by ductile. Malleable in the sense it is nothing but the property of the metals which can be beaten into sheets. I mean metals can be beaten into sheets and this property of metal is said to be malleability and such a nature is said to be malleable. At the same time, ductile nature. What is meant by ductility and what is meant by ductile nature? Ductility means it is a property of the metal drawn into us. Property of a metal which due to which the metals can be drawn into wires. And such a nature is said to be ductile. I mean metals are ductile in nature. I mean metals possesses the property of ductility. So in this way, metallic compounds they have a luster, bright luster. I mean lustrous. Metals are metallic solids are malleable and ductile. Both they possess malleability and ductility. Low melting and boiling point. High thermal and electrical conductivity. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. So in this way, we have discussed about metals, their properties, their intermolecular bonds, and so on. So remaining matter we discuss in next lecture of bonding in solids and X-ray diffraction. Thank you.